Welcome to the Pampered Thoughts podcast, where we are inspiring and encouraging women to love themselves as they are without shame or guilt, focusing on topics such as self-love, marriage and family, balance in life and business, and all things woman. Every week, we'll share inspirational topics that focus on helping you to overcome your struggles and limitations with lack of identity, low self-esteem, self-love, confidence, and so much more. I'm your host, Veronica, a wife, mom, speaker, entrepreneur, and more importantly, a daughter of the King. Hey, welcome to the Pampered Thoughts podcast. I am your host, Veronica, and I'm so glad you all are joining me today. If you are new to the podcast, thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you love what you hear and take some time to go and listen to some of the other episodes that have previously aired. If you are not new, but you've been rocking with me from the beginning, thank you so much for joining in again. I hope that you all had a grand and pampered week. If you have not already, go ahead and like the podcast and share the podcast with women who you may know would benefit from having encouragement, from motivation, and just being inspired to do better, to live better, and to treat yourselves better. If you find that it's been helpful for you, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Pampered Thoughts, and on Twitter at I Am Pamper. You'll be updated on what's new, what's happening. Working on being more consistent with my social media posting. So y'all have to forgive me for that, especially since we've moved and now we're in a completely different country, trying to get my bearings still. So just bear with me on that. But today I just wanted to kind of come on and encourage you. This episode is more so for parents of special needs children. I entitled this Special Needs, Special Purpose, because I wanted to encourage some of the parents who are out there, more so mothers, because I speak specifically to women. But I wanted to encourage you all today. For those of you who may not know, or you haven't listened to any, or you haven't necessarily followed my podcast, or just some of the things that I've posted on social media, both of my daughters were diagnosed as having special needs. My oldest was diagnosed with a more severe case of intellectual disability, as well as my youngest daughter, a mild case of, it's on the autism spectrum now, but Asperger's. I share all of that because this week I was working with my daughter, my oldest daughter, and she put together a short film because she went to school for digital cinema production, and she finished, and she was putting into practice some of trying to perfect her skill set in working with the camera and recording, editing, and all of that. And I was just so proud of her. Actually, all of us were very proud of her because she did a really good job. And if you follow our YouTube channel, Our Life Y'all's Way, then you've seen the short film because we posted it on our channel as well as her YouTube channel, Murray's Dreams. And I was so proud of her because she's struggled quite a bit, as you could probably tell. Most of the time when people or children, well, that's not necessarily children, but children, and you have some adults who struggle with certain disabilities. And a lot of times when those who have learning disabilities or disabilities that you can't necessarily see on the outside, a lot of times many people don't believe that that person may have a disability or any type of struggle. Like what you've heard so far? Great. Make sure you never miss a show by clicking the subscribe button now. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. Thank you so much for your support. Now back to the show. And so my daughter struggled a lot, because when you look at my daughters, they look as if they have no struggles or anything, no special needs. But they're both very smart. They're both very creative. I'm very proud of both of my daughters, but my oldest in particular created her short film. She wrote the script. She did the production. She did all of that. We were the actors, but we wanted to help her in that regard so that she can begin to improve on her skills. And it led me to think of how there are other parents, other moms who are out there who may have a child with a disability. And I wanted to come on here and encourage you, to let you know that even though they may have a special need, God still has a special purpose for them. And I say that because when I initially found out the diagnosis that my daughters had, I was heartbroken, because I thought it was something that I did. I thought it was something that I may not have done during pregnancy. It was a lot of internal, emotional things, mental things that I was going through, because I wasn't sure how to move forward. I wasn't sure what to do. It was just a lot of sadness around their diagnosis, because I immediately heard the diagnosis and my mindset went to what was wrong. What did I do wrong? What did we do wrong? It was just everything was what was wrong. There was nothing that I thought that, okay, it was hard for me to see something on the other side. It was hard for me to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And one of the days I was kind of pretty much just really still thinking about what was going on and the diagnosis that they had received. And I saw the struggles that they had, but I just thought that maybe it was something that they would eventually mature out of or grow into. But I wasn't necessarily sure what the struggles were, which is why we went to have them tested. Because of that, I was thinking about the diagnosis, and just in my prayer time with the Father, I prayed and I asked him, what can I do? How do I move forward? How can I help them? How can I give them the help that they need? Because I didn't feel qualified. I didn't feel as though I was the parent or the one who would be able to be beneficial to them and what they needed having the special needs. And the Most High took me to John chapter 9. And in John chapter 9, Jesus comes across a man who was born blind. And when they saw this man and him being blind, the disciples asked, why is this man blind? Was it his sins of his parents? Did he sin himself? Why was he blind? And Yeshua told the disciples, this man did not sin, his parents did not sin, and he was born blind so that the works of God should be made manifest in him. And when he showed me that scripture, he reminded me that he created my daughters, that he created them perfectly in the way that they were to be created. And that even though the world may say that they have limits, even though the world may say that they have struggles that are not normal, what the world looks as not natural or not normal, God can use that. He encouraged me with that scripture, and I pray that I encourage you all with the same scripture, that if you have children who are struggling with whatever the disability or whatever the special need is, they may have special needs, but God has a special purpose for them. My daughter's counselor told me that my daughter should not try to go to school because she wouldn't be able to finish. She wouldn't be able to get the grade that she needs. And had I listened to what she said, my daughter would have gained the skills that she has in working with the cameras and all of the things that she does. But because I chose to believe in my daughter, because the Father years ago gave me that scripture in John chapter 9 and said that she was created, they were created so that the works of God would be made manifest in them, I chose to allow her to go to school because it was a desire that she had. And I knew that when she went, that the Most High was going to be with her. And he was, because she made passing grades. She also was a little bit more advanced in some of the things that she was learning than some of the other students in that, or her classmates in that class. And so she was able to come out and she finished Don't limit your children into what you feel you cannot do or what you feel your children cannot do, because God has a special purpose for them. He made each and every person with a purpose for a purpose. Yes, that includes those that may be blind, those that may be mute, that can't talk, those that may be handicapped in a wheelchair. He made each of them with a purpose for a purpose. And it reminds me of Moses. Moses was afraid to go and set the children of Israel free from their slavery, from their bondage in Egypt, because he had a speech problem. But the Most High got upset with him because he was speaking in disbelief. He was speaking from a place of fear and from a place of doubt that he would be able to do what God was calling him to do. And God told him, who made the deaf? Who made the dumb? Who made all of these ones who have natural worldly limitations? I created all of them. He told him that you will go forth, but he also sent Aaron to help him so that he wouldn't have an excuse. Even my own daughter, when they were in school, we were homeschooling. There were times when I knew that she was struggling, but there was also times when I knew that she just didn't want to do the work and could sometimes use that limitation as a crutch. And when you get to that place of knowing, okay, no, I know that you're able to do this. I know that you're capable of doing this. And you push them, even though they may sometimes try to lean on that as a crutch and use it as an excuse to not be their best. You can still let them know that they have purpose and that they can do what God is calling them to do. And so I want to encourage all of the parents who may be just feeling like, where do I go from here? I don't know what to do. I don't know how to move forward. I don't know how to push my child. I don't know how to get past this. Just know that the Most High created them so that the works of God will manifest in them. It doesn't matter. It can be the smallest thing that they can touch someone. It doesn't have to be a big, grandiose, like Moses parting the Red Sea or freeing the children of Israel. It can just be like my daughter, a small short film. It can be maybe he was able to speak and they were able to count to 10, and before they weren't able to. No matter what it may be, God created them for a purpose, and that his works will be made manifest through them. And so I want to encourage you all today to keep going, to keep teaching, to keep helping. And if you don't have all the help that you need, seek for that help. It's okay to get extra help to help them in that area. And just be encouraged that there is no limitation that this world will put on our children that they cannot overcome. Even when the counselor said that my daughter would not finish school and that she wouldn't be able to get to where she needed to be, she had placed her limitations on what my daughter could do. But God said, no, she can go to school, and I'm going to give her favor when she gets to school. In the same way he did it for my daughter, he can do it for you. In the same way he did it for Moses, he can do it for you. In the same way he healed the blind man, the Most High will perform a miracle in your child's life that will be so amazing that people won't even believe that they had special needs. People won't believe that they had struggles that will keep them from moving and being who God created them to be. He will do a work in their life like never before. Just keep going, keep pressing, keep pushing, and just be there for them. Be that listening ear, because yes, we had nights of crying. We had nights where it was just hard. It was a struggle, not only for them, but for me, because I never had those struggles when I was a child. So for me to teach them and to try to help them, wasn't sure how to move about and how to help them. So I had to do a lot of research. I had to find out what was the best way for me to teach them in the way that they learn, so that I could make sure that they're able to read and write and all these different things as it relates to basic living skills. And my girls have done way better than what people would have imagined them to do. And so all of that is because of God. It's because God wanted to show his work through them. And I'm just so thankful today because I'm proud of my daughter and the hard work that she's put in. Even my youngest daughter, she's working on something as well that's really requiring her to dig and to read research, and I'm just so proud of them because even when they didn't want to read, even in times where we had to fight about doing work, and it's just amazing to see how now they've grown and they're continuing to grow into all that God has called them to be. So be encouraged, be steadfast, because God will show forth his works through them, and they will fulfill the purpose that God has for them. If you want to check out her short film, you can go to our YouTube page, our family's YouTube page. For those of you that don't know, our family moved all the way across the world to Africa from the United States, and we're documenting our journey on our family YouTube page on Our Life Yahweh. I posted her video there. You can go there, Our Life Yahweh, or you can go to her page, which is Mari's Dreams, MARI' Dreams, and you can see the film there. That's really all that I wanted to talk to today. This is specifically for those of you who are mothers to special needs children. Just be encouraged. Know that there is a plan for your child, that your child will fulfill everything that God has for them, and you will see and reap the rewards and the fruit that you plant in them today as they grow older. So with that being said, once again, go and follow Pampered Thoughts on Instagram and Facebook at Pampered Thoughts, Twitter at I Am Pampered. If you have any questions, prayer requests, or whatever it might be, reach out to me at info@pamperedthoughts.com or info@veronicascurry.com. And you all be blessed. Until next time, stay pampered. Thanks for joining us this week on the Pampered Thoughts podcast. Be sure to visit us at www.pamperedthoughts.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Stitcher, or RSS, so you'll never miss a show. You can also check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Pampered Thoughts, and on Twitter at I Am Pampered. As always, subscribe to the show to catch a new episode every week. And if you found value in the show, please leave a rating on iTunes and tell a friend about us. We want to continue to bring you the episodes you love. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, stay pampered.